This video is sponsored by Sakurako.
Alright, so we got the 402 spoilers, and this chapter is continuing the excitement of All Might versus All for One, but now we're also coming into Izuku versus Shigaraki, because in the previous chapter we saw Stain and All Might team up to take on All for One. And All for One did like an elaborate set of things to overcome Stain's paralyzing quirk, and it looks like he ultimately killed Stain, I suppose, in the previous chapter, and afterwards wound up blasting All Might, taking off the rest of his armor, and eventually All Might wound up crawling towards All for One, as we saw All for One watching UA fall to the ground. As it said, he was within range to use his gloop warp, to get to Shigaraki to complete his plan, which we'll talk about shortly. Because coming into this chapter, we see Shoto and Ochako on the ground, as the cops confirm they've both done their jobs of stopping Dabi and Toga. We see that the Twices have vanished from UA, and then Momo was fighting them with a spear in her hands and machine guns on her shoulders. So yeah, we're seeing confirmation that Shoto and Ochako are like the definitive winners here. And as for stopping Dabi and Toga, I don't know what that means other than, them winning, but are they alive? Are they dead? Are they in custody? Maybe we'll see in the chapter, maybe we won't. And I also like it showing us Momo for one last time, I guess, in her ultimate form, I guess, with the spear and machine gun on her shoulders. From the assistance of her quirk, of course. Hatsume says that UA is now lighter without the Twices, and it'll be able to float again. Deku is managing to keep Shigaraki away from UA and to fight him in close quarters, but now All for One is getting closer to them. So that's mitigating one ticking clock, I suppose, with UA falling, since it can float again, with Toga's, defeat, causing the Twice clones to dissipate. But back to All for One, because his plan is to use the gloop warp, bring Tomura closer, and to give him the synthetic copy of the All for One quirk to finally complete the body hijack. All Might tries to taunt him, but All for One says that he'll complete his plan first. He uses the gloop warp, but Shigaraki refuses to go. So yeah, I like that it's put out real plainly there, because that is, for sure what All for One is trying to do here. Because once he gives him the synthetic copy, they'll merge the two copies together and have a perfect copy, and then All for One can just completely take over Shigaraki's consciousness and new body, which is capable of holding the perfect All for One. And yeah, he'll just be unstoppable at that point, I assume, because he'll also be strong enough and have the hatred imbued in him to be able to take one for all from Izuku. So yeah, it wouldn't be good if that happened, but Shigaraki's fighting back. He's not letting the gloop warp take him over, because when the goo starts to come out of his mouth, he just closes it. We haven't seen that defense before. That's hilarious. And he says, "You're a nuisance, Sensei." And All for One understands that Tomura's consciousness is far too strong, and changes to Plan B, which consists of grabbing All Might by the leg and flying him to Deku and Shigaraki. So yeah, like we were talking about, All for One raised Shigaraki to have a consciousness this strong, and hatred this strong, to bypass the failsafe that One for All has on it, to stop it from being taken by All for One. But now, of course, it's backfiring on him, because it's too strong for his own good, because it's stopping even All for One himself. But this is All for One, and he has 30 different plans and 40 different backup plans, so now he's grabbing All Might. Also, this is another reason why he isn't killing him immediately, since he is essentially defenseless at this point, or we're led to believe that he is, coming off of the previous chapter with most of his gear being destroyed. He's kind of just in his suit at this point, and he's flying towards Izuku and Shigaraki with All Might.
But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Sakurako. Sakurako is a monthly authentic Japanese snack subscription box. Sakurako is also supporting local Japanese snack makers, because each box comes with 20 traditional, authentic, and artisan Japanese snacks, including Japanese tea and a special Japanese tableware. It also comes with this awesome booklet that gives you information on all of the snacks in the box, as well as information about Japan and its culture.
This month's box is Kyoto's Crimson Leaves. This month, Sakurako partners with the Kyoto Prefectural Government for a limited edition box design inspired by the beauty of Kyoto's autumn season. Indulge indulgent artisanal delicacies like Kyono Ame, Yuzu Dorayaki, and Sakurako Banana White Chocolate. All pairs excellently with Hochija tea from Kyoto. And this month's tableware item is a brocade flower dish, which is hand-painted by artisans at Bloom in Gifu Prefecture. So first I tried the tea that we get with Sakurako every month because it pairs with everything in the box. It's the Hochija Iaiman cha. This had such a great floral flavor to it. Again, that really unique Japanese flavor. Next, I tried the Sakurako Original White Chocolate Fruit Banana. It looks like a freeze-dried banana, but it tastes and has the texture of chocolate with banana flavor, of course. This was so good. For something salty, I tried the Sansho Arare. This was also so good. It had a great soy sauce flavor, this domestic Japanese pepper. Next, I tried the Uji Koicha Boucher, and this tastes just as good as it looks. If you like matcha, you're going to love this because it has a great matcha flavor and the cream in the center. So if you'd like to get your very own artisan Japanese snack box from Sakurako every month, check out the link in the description and make sure you use my code Zhoniin. That way you'll get $5 off your purchase. Thanks, guys. And he says that All Might was the one who put this chaotic dream in those kids' heads, so now he has to pay the price. Tomura teases Izuku by saying that he has to save All Might, and that in the meantime he'll go and kill everyone who's at UA, and Izuku is panting like crazy. Izuku had been forcing himself not to cry because All Might said that he had to stop being a crybaby, but he's at his limit, and All Might's vestige starts to fade, forewarning his farewell. The next page shows Deku shouting, "All Might," with tears flowing like energy from his eyes. All Might starts reminiscing. "Can I become a hero even without a quirk?" asks Deku. "Of course you can. After all, you always do your best and never give up on your dream. I've never been able to give up on mine either. My dream of being the symbol of peace." All Might then grabs All For One's neck with the arm that still has the gauntlet on it and smiles. All For One remembers Nana's last moments, the same panels from Volume 0, but doesn't quite know why. She was a pathetic woman who died in a ridiculous way, so why? Nana, in her last moments, said, "All For One, All Might is going to defeat you because Toshinori is crazier than you." Cut to the present, and All Might says, "If you die one more time, you'll rewind into a kindergartner, right?" And his gauntlet explodes. End of chapter. So that is crazy. So I assume that this is All Might's support item inspired by Bakugo, right? It's a gauntlet, it's exploding. We haven't seen Bakugo's item yet, so I guess when the next chapter opens up, he's going to give this a proper name and it'll have something to do with Bakugo. And speaking of Bakugo, you know, he's still laying out there kind of like half dead, half alive, still needing to be brought back, right? So maybe he comes back in the next chapter. That would be pretty crazy because he still needs to have his big grand triumphant return. And I wonder if he's going to help All Might take down All For One, or Izuku take down Shigaraki, or both. Also, another thing about All For One here is that I do think he, for sure is going to be hit by this gauntlet explosion or whatever's going on. And as All Might says here, he'll be rewound to a kindergartner, and I do think that's going to happen. And that might cause a flashback to happen or something, or more exposition, or just a big reveal of how Shigaraki received decay, because that still needs to be revealed, and I hope Horikoshi doesn't decide to just skip over that and not talk about it, because the seeds have already been planted by him, like it's there. Like Shigaraki, or Tenko, was definitely born quirkless in my opinion, because his quirk manifested when he was 5. And it was like explicitly stated that like if your quirk doesn't manifest by 4 or something, or at least by 5, I don't know, then you're probably quirkless. I'm paraphrasing, but it's something like that. And we also saw that in Tenko's flashback, he was randomly dropped off at his house one day by this guy in a hat. And it was definitely All For One, in my opinion, giving him the decay quirk, which, caused him to massacre his family and everything. So it would kind of be a waste if that wasn't revealed. So it's possible that All For One being rewound to a kindergartner will spark that whole thing, since that's when he stole Tenko's innocence, I suppose. And that could be a parallel there, possibly. Also, brace yourself for the possible death of All Might in the next chapter, too, maybe, because, man, he is so vulnerable right now. And he is getting close to serving his purpose, right? Because in the flashback, we saw Nana saying, in her last moments, All For One, All Might is going to defeat you because Toshinori is crazier than you. So maybe All Might sacrifices himself to take down All For One along with Shigaraki's help or something, because Shigaraki, needs to declare his independence by taking down All For One, of course. But I don't know. Let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.